Guten Morgen. So today in this video I'll be teaching you Zahlen, which means numbers from 1 to 100. Along with that, I'll also give you a small trick which will help you to learn these numbers faster. So let's start with Zahlen. So let's start with numbers. Numbers are called Zahlen in English. It's Zahlen. I'll write there so you will understand. It's Zahlen. 0 is null. I repeat, 0 is null. 1, eins. 1, eins. 2, zwei. 2, zwei. 3, drei. 3, drei. 4, vier. 4, vier. Here the pronunciation of V is fo, as when we learned alphabets it's fo, which means the pronunciation of V will start with fo. So 4 becomes fear. 5, fünf. Please listen carefully. It's fünf because the U has umlaut. The pronunciation becomes fünf. If U didn't have any umlaut, then it would have been fünf. But in this case, U has a umlaut, so the pronunciation will become fünf. Okay? 6 is sechs. 6, sechs. Here the pronunciation of S is Z. So we say it sechs. Next, 7, sieben. 7, sieben. Then 8, acht. 8, acht. 9, neun. 9, neun. 10, zehn. 10, zehn. 11, it's elf. 11, elf. 12, zwölf. Again here O has a umlaut, so the pronunciation is zwölf. 13 is dreizehn or dreizehn. 13, dreizehn. 14, vierzehn. 14, vierzehn. 15, fünfzehn. 15, fünfzehn. 16, sechzehn. 16, sechzehn. Here, if you look here at number 6, the full spelling is S-E-C-H-S, which is zex. But in 16, S has been eliminated because there is a rule that S and Z cannot be together. I'll just write here so that you'll understand. So this is the rule that S and Z cannot be written together. That's why in 16 the zex S is eliminated and it is written as zechzehn because we cannot pronounce or we cannot spell 16 as zechzehn because the rule says that S and Z cannot be written together. That's why it's zechzehn. Even for 17, this is the same case in 17. Like they have written siebzehn. The second rule is En and Z cannot be written together. That's why here en is eliminated. So the pronunciation becomes Siebzen. 18 is Achtzehn. 18 Achtzehn. 19 Neunzehn. 19 Neunzehn. 20 Zwanzig. 20 Zwanzig. 21 is Ein und Zwanzig. Learning these numbers are very easy. I'll tell you the trick, but first let me explain this. What is Ein und Zwanzig? In English, while writing, we write as 21, which means TWENTYONE. But here it is opposite. First, we will write the spelling of the word which is at the units place, then the word which is at the tens place. So first it is Ein, then we add und, UND, and then we write Zwanzig. Because it is in the series of 20, it is Zwanzig. So Ein und Zwanzig. Here again it is not Eins und Zwanzig, as one has the pronunciation of Eins, but as the rule says S and Z cannot be written together, so here also S has been eliminated, so the pronunciation and the spelling becomes Ein und Zwanzig. So first we write the number which is at the units place, which is 1. So here it is written as Ein. Then we add a und. It is compulsory to add a und after writing the word which is at the units place. So Ein und, and it is in the series of 20. So we write as Zwanzig. Next is 22. Now we will write it as the number which is at the units place is it's zwei, as 2 is, we called it as zwei. So zwei, then we add a und, and as it is in the series of 20, it will become Zwanzig. Moving ahead, 23, we will write it as drei, then add a und, and then Zwanzig. 24 will be vier, then add a und, Zwanzig. 25, fünf und Zwanzig. 26, sechs und Zwanzig. Now here you'll see there's a bit change. Here it is sechs, then und, and then Zwanzig. This is because U and S. See, I'll show you. U and S, they can be written together because the rule says that only S and Z cannot be written together, but S and U can be written together. That is why here the 6, the spelling of the 6 is completely written. So sechs, then added a und, and then Zwanzig. Okay. Even in case of 27, En and U can be written together. That is why spelling of 7 is written completely, which is Sieben, then added a und, and then Zwanzig. So 26 will be sechs und Zwanzig, and 27 will be Sieben und Zwanzig. 28 is acht und Zwanzig. Acht und Zwanzig. 29 is neun und Zwanzig. I repeat, neun und Zwanzig. Now 30 becomes dreizig. I repeat, it's dreizig. Now again for 31, I said that learning these numbers are very easy. It's just that it's a just small trick to learn it. Now for 31, again you will repeat that like ein, und, and as it is a series of 30s, then you will just add dreizig. So ein und dreizig. 32 will be zwei und dreizig. 33 will be drei und dreizig. 34 will be vier und dreizig. 35 fünf und dreizig. 36 sechs und dreizig. 37 sieben und dreizig. 38 acht und dreizig. 39 will be neun und dreizig. 40 will be fear-ish. Now learning this 30 is dry. As you know, 3 is dry. For 30 you have to just add a Z-I-G. So dry-zish. For 40 you will add, first you will write fear and then add a Z-I-G. For 50 you will first write 5, which is funth, F-U umlaut N-F, and then just add Z-I-G. For 60 you will write S-E-C-H Z-I-G. As I said, S and Z cannot be written together. In case of 70 you will write S-I-E-B-Z-I-G, Zeebzish. So I hope you are getting that it's a trick. First you will write, for 40 you know that 40, so first you will write 4, which is fear, and then just add a Z-I-G. It's same for 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I'll explain you again once we'll move forward. So now 41, again the trick is same. First you will write eins, ein means the number which is in the units place, then add a und, and now you will write fear-ish, as this is the series of 40. So ein und fear-ish. 42 becomes zwei und fear-ish. 43 becomes drei und fear-ish, and so on. For 50 you will write it as funf-zish. As I said, first you will write 5, which is F-U-N-F, and Z-I-G, which becomes 50, funf-zish. Then again ein und funf-zish, zwei und funf-zish, drei und funf-zish, vier und funf-zish, fünf und funf-zish, sechs und funf-zish, and so on. For 60 you will write it as zek-zish. As I said, S and Z cannot be written together, so S is eliminated, so the pronunciation and the spelling will become Zegzish and S-E-C-H-Z-I-G. Again the trick or the learning pattern is same. For 61 you will write ein, then add und, and then Zegzish. 62 zwei und Zegzish. 63 drei und Zegzish. 64 vier und Zegzish. 65 fünf und Zegzish. For 66 it is Zex und Zegzish. Now here there is a bit difference or a bit change. Here for 66, first we write the spelling of the number which is in the units place. So it's 6, Zex. Here the spelling is written completely because S and U can be written together. So it becomes Zex und Zegzish. Why Zegzish? As you know that the rule is S and U cannot be written together. Okay. For 67 it will be Sieben und Zegzish, as En and U can be written together. 68 acht und Zegzish. 69 neun und Zegzish. And 70 it's Zeebzish. Again that rule. So that's why En is eliminated and the pronunciation becomes Zeebzish and spelling will become S-I-E-B-Z-I-G. Again the learning pattern remains same. For 71 you will first write ein, then add und, and then write Zeebzish. You will write Zeebzish because this is a series of 70s. So ein und Zeebzish, zwei und Zeebzish, drei und Zeebzish, vier und Zeebzish, fünf und Zeebzish, sechs und Zeebzish, sieben und Zeebzish. For 76 and 77 again there's a bit change. First you will write Zex. For 6 Zex is written completely, then und and Zeebzish, because the rule says that S and Z cannot be written together. Otherwise S and U can be written together. So that's why it becomes Zex und Zeebzish. Again for 77 it's Sieben und Zeebzish according to the rule. 78 acht und Zeebzish. 79 neun und Zeebzish, and 80 it's Achtzish. Again for 81 you will follow the same learning pattern, ein und Achtzish, zwei und Achtzish, and so on. 90 we call it as Neunzish. I repeat, Neunzish. Again from 91 to 99 the learning pattern and the writing pattern remain same. It's 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. For 100, we either say it as 100 or only 100. If you say only 100, it is understood that it is 100, but you can also write it as 100. It's hundert, HUNDERT. Now if you want to write 300, then you'll just add dry and write 100, so it becomes dry 100. For 500, you'll write it as 500. For 700, you'll write it as 700, and so on. Now if you get a number such as 360, then you'll write it as dry 100, and as you know, 60 we spell and pronounce it as zegzish, so the 360 will be called as dry 100 zegzish. Now if you want to write 221, so first it's in the series of 200, so you'll write 200, and 21, you know how to write 21, so you'll write it as 21. So the complete spelling and pronunciation will be 221. ZWEIHUNDERTEINUNDZWANZIG means 221. I hope you are getting it. I hope you are able to understand what I am saying. Now let's take another example. If you want to write 862, then first you have to identify that it is in the series of 800. So first you will write 800, and then 62 you will write it as 62. So 862. Okay, let's take one more last example. 555. So you will write it as 555. I hope now you are getting it. Now let's move forward. For 1000, you called it as 1000. I repeat, 1000. 10,000, you'll pronounce it as 10,000. Taking another example, if you want to write 8,000, then you'll pronounce it as 8,000. 5,000, then you'll say it as 5,000. If you want to say 57,000, then you will say it as 57,000. Then taking another example, if you want to write 52,000, then you will write 52,000. 70,000, you will write it as 70,000. 7,000, then you will write it as 7,000. I hope you are getting it. For million, you will write it as 1 million, then 1 milliard, and then 1 billion. You can write 100, 1000 is easier to write, but first you have to learn numbers from 1 to 100. You have to get to know what is the trick, like how to learn this, what is the learning pattern. I have told you that learning numbers are very easy. Like first you have to write the number which is in the units place, add a und, and then write like whether it is zwanzish or dreizish. You have to identify in which series the number falls. So learning numbers is very easy, and for now it is important to learn from 1 to 100, and after that you'll be able to, after learning numbers from 1 to 100, you'll able to also identify or also write numbers which is like 106, 126, 300, 500, 552 or 1000. Then you will be able to write it. But for now, you have to just learn the numbers from 1 to 100. I hope all the numbers from 1 to 100 and the next like 100, 1000, 10,000 and all are clear to you. If you have any doubt, please write, or just write it in the comment section, so I'll clear all your doubts. And if you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.